Hello children, welcome to Arman and Mommy, your personal math tutorials, and today I'm going to teach you the types of algebraic expressions. So the types would be, the first type is the monomial, the second one is a binomial, third one is a trinomial, then it's a multinomial, and fifth one is polynomial. Let's quickly check out what a monomial is. A monomial has just one term. Okay, just remember this. Monomial has just one term. The examples of monomial could be, let's say, just x, which is a variable, or it can be 5xy, or we can also write a term like 7x by 4 and so on. These are the examples of monomial, and these are all considered as single terms, one term. The second one is a binomial. So as the name suggests, a binomial is a binomial has two terms. So it's got two terms. For example, let's say 2a plus x. Now this could be one example, or one more could be something like 7x by 4 minus 8. Now this also could be one example of a binomial. Now let's check out what a trinomial is. A trinomial has three terms. Any expression which has three terms is called a trinomial. Example of this could be, let's say, ax square plus bx plus c. This could be one example. Or let's take one more example. For example, let's say a square minus 4x plus 8x square. This also could be an example of a trinomial. If you check out here, we have three terms. Ax square is one term, bx and c, and these are all separated by plus or minus signs. So a square minus 4x plus 8x square. Now this is one term, this is another term, and this is another third term, and each term is separated by the plus and minus signs. The next one is a multinomial. A multinomial has it's an algebraic expression which has more than three terms. It's a multinomial is an expression which has more than three terms. You have to remember this. Let's say, for example, let's take it as 4 minus a plus ax plus by, something like this. So this is one term, first term, second term, third term, fourth term. Something which has more than three terms is a multinomial. Okay, the last one is a polynomial. A polynomial is an algebraic expression which has more than two terms or three terms. So for example, x square minus 4x minus xy plus 8y plus a. Just check out how many terms we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. So what we could say is every binomial is a polynomial. Every trinomial is a polynomial. Every multinomial is a polynomial. So if any term has if any expression has 2, 3, 4, 5 or n number of terms, any expression has 2, 3, 4 or 5 or n number of terms, we could consider it as a polynomial. Now let us learn about the coefficient, the term coefficient, what the coefficients are. I have taken an example of a 5xyz. So you could say this also as 5 into x into y into z. So if I'm talking about the coefficient of 5 is going to be x, y and z. Or if I take 5x, so the coefficient of 5x is going to be y and z. And if I have to take it this way, let's say, what is the coefficient of x? The coefficient of x is going to be 5yz. if I ask you what is the coefficient of y is, so the coefficient of y, you can write it as 5xz. These are the coefficients. Basically, any factor or the group of factors of a term is called the coefficient. For example, if we have to multiply 5 into x into y into z, 5 into x into y into z. Now the factors would be, these are all the factors. These are all the factors which I have to multiply with each other. Of a monomial. We know what a monomial is. A monomial is basically one term. So let's understand what is a degree of a monomial. The degree of a monomial is the exponent of its variable or the sum of the exponents of its variable. Let's say, for example, the degree of 4x square is going to be this, 2. Okay, let me take another example. 8x square y cube. So the degrees here, this is a monomial, which is one term, and the degrees here, or also called as the exponents here, would be 2 and 3. What we see here is that we have two exponents or 2 degrees. So it's going to be 2 plus 3. That's going to be 5. So this is the degree of a monomial. So whenever we have 2 exponents in a term, in a monomial, so we will have to add the 2 exponents, which are also called as the degrees. Let's say, let me just tell you another example. So if I have to tell you the degree of, if I have to show you the degree of 2 by 7 x y to the power of 4. So can you guess what is the degree here of x and y? 2 by 7 xy, what is the degree here? Here it's basically x means x to the power of 1, y to the power of 4. So the degree here is 1 plus 4, which is 5. Now this is the sum of the exponents of the variable x and y. Similarly, we also had the sum of the exponents for 8x square y cube. So the sum of the exponents of the variables here, the whole term was a variable, and the sum of the exponents were 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3, which was the degree of x was 2, the degree of y was 3. So 2 plus 3 was 5. Hope you got that. Okay, now let's understand what the like and the unlike terms are. So terms having the same literal coefficients or alphabetic letters are called like terms. Example of like terms would be, I'll just give you an example. Like terms, let's say 5x and 8x. So 5x and 8x. What do we see here? We see that the literal coefficients, these are the literal coefficients, which are also called as the alphabetic letters. So the coefficient of 5 is x, the coefficient of 8 is also x. So what we see is the literal coefficients of 5 and 8 are x. So that is why they become the like terms. Another example would be, let's say 7x square and 2x square. So the coefficients of 7 and 2 is x square. So these are the literal coefficients, which are also called as the alphabetic letters. So if these are same, then the terms are supposed to be called as the like terms. One more example I'd like to give you: 3xy square and 4xy square. What we see here again is the literal coefficients. The literal coefficients of 3 and 4 is xy square and xy square. So here again they become the like terms. So what are the like terms? The like terms are those terms which are having the same literal coefficients or the alphabetic letters. Now let's see what the unlike terms are. So the terms with different literal coefficients are called unlike terms. Let's say for in this particular example, okay, let me write it over here. Unlike terms. Let's take the numbers from this example itself. So I have 5x, and instead of taking 8x, I'm going to change the coefficient of 8 to y. So what I see here is the coefficient of 5 is x and the coefficient of 8 is y. So what we see here is the literal coefficients are not same. The alphabetic letters are not same. They are different. So these become the unlike terms. I'll use this example now. 7x square, and instead of writing 2x square, I'll write it as 2z square. So again, what I see here is the literal coefficients are different. So here for 7 the coefficient is x square, and for 2 the coefficient is z square. So this again becomes an unlike term because the literal coefficients are not same. Similarly, in the last example, 3xy square, I'm going to change the coefficient of 4 here. Let me just write it as 4yz cube. If I take it, so what I see here is the literal coefficients are different. So the coefficients for 3 are xy square, and the coefficient for 4 is yz cube. So what we see here is the literal coefficients are different. So that's why they become unlike terms. Okay children, that's it for today. If you found my video helpful, then please give it a like, and don't forget to share and subscribe, and also take very good care of yourselves. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep learning. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, one more thing I always forget. Don't forget to catch up with me for learning the addition and subtraction of like terms and unlike terms in my next video. Bye again.